Have you ever felt like the world is spinning out of control? Like every time you open the news, something darker has emerged. Another conflict, another crisis, another catastrophe that makes you wonder, is this just coincidence, or is something bigger happening? What if I told you that over 2,000 years ago, a man named John saw a vision on a lonely island? He saw four riders on four horses. And these riders weren't just symbols, they were prophecies, warnings, a divine roadmap of what would unfold in the last days: white, red, black, pale green, four colors, four riders, four forces that would reshape the world. And here's the question that should stop you in your tracks. What if they're not coming? What if they're already here? What if right now, as you watch this video, the four horsemen of the apocalypse are already in motion? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover might change the way you see everything happening around you. Let's go back to where it all begins. The Book of Revelation. Chapter 6. John the Apostle is caught up in a vision. He's standing before the throne of God, and he sees Jesus, depicted as the Lamb who was slain, holding a scroll sealed with 7 seals. And as each seal is broken, something is released onto the earth. The first 4 seals unleash the riders. And he sees a white horse. Its rider holds a bow, wears a crown, and rides out as a conqueror bent on conquest. The second seal, a red horse. Its rider is given power to take peace from the earth, to make men kill each other. A great sword is given to him. The third seal, a black horse. Its rider holds a pair of scales, and a voice declares, "A quart of wheat for a day's wages, and 3 quarts of barley for a day's wages." The fourth seal, a pale horse. Its rider is named Death, and Hades follows close behind him. They're given power over a fourth of the earth, to kill by sword, famine, plague, and wild beasts. 4 riders, 4 devastating forces. For centuries, scholars have debated what these riders represent. Are they literal figures, symbolic forces, events yet to come, or patterns that repeat throughout history? But here's what makes this prophecy so unsettling. The characteristics of these riders match exactly what we're seeing unfold in the world today, not in some distant future, not in a science fiction movie, but right now, in real time. Let's break down each rider and what they truly represent. The first rider, the white horse. This one confuses people. A white horse sounds good, right? White usually symbolizes purity, victory, righteousness. Some even think this rider is Jesus himself, but look closer. This rider carries a bow, but no arrows. He wears a crown, but not the crown of a true king. The Greek word used here is Stephanos, a victor's crown, not a royal diadem. He goes out conquering and to conquer. This is not Christ. This is deception. This is false peace. This is conquest disguised as salvation. Throughout history, we've seen this pattern. Empires rise promising peace, prosperity, and unity. Rome called it Pax Romana. Modern globalists call it the New World Order. It always starts with promises, treaties, handshakes, but underneath, it's conquest, control, domination. And today, we see it in the rise of global agendas, in leaders who promise unity while stripping away freedoms, in systems that sound compassionate but demand submission. The white horse isn't coming. It's been riding for decades. The second rider, the red horse. This one is easier to recognize. Red represents bloodshed, war, violence. When the red horse rides, peace is taken from the earth. Men kill each other, not just in organized wars, though we see those escalating, but in civil unrest, riots, ethnic conflicts, neighbor against neighbor. Look at the world right now. Wars in Europe, tensions in the Middle East, proxy conflicts spreading like wildfires, nations arming themselves at rates not seen since the Cold War. But it's not just nations. It's streets, cities, communities tearing themselves apart from the inside, division, hatred, rage. The red horse doesn't just bring war between armies, it brings war into hearts, into families, into societies, and it's galloping faster every year. The third rider, the black horse. The black horse carries scales, a symbol of commerce, of rationing, of economic collapse. The voice John hears announces inflated prices, a day's wages for a single quart of wheat. Imagine working 8 hours just to afford 1 meal. That's not prosperity, that's survival mode. This means the luxuries of the wealthy remain untouched. The rich still live in abundance while the masses scrape by. It's economic disparity on a catastrophic scale. Sound familiar? Inflation is soaring. The cost of food, fuel, housing skyrocketing. Meanwhile, billionaires add zeros to their wealth. The gap between rich and poor has never been wider. Supply chains are fragile. One disruption, a pandemic, a war, a cyber attack, and grocery shelves empty. Gas stations run dry. Entire economies teeter on the edge. The black horse isn't a future threat. It's trampling through our economies right now. The fourth rider, the pale horse. This is the most terrifying of all. The Greek word for pale here is chloros. Pale green, the color of sickness, decay, death. This rider's name is death itself, and Hades, the grave, follows behind him like a shadow. He's given authority over a fourth of the earth, 1/4. That's nearly 2 billion people. His weapons? Sword, famine, plague, wild beasts. We've seen the sword, war. We've seen famine, economic collapse. But plague? In our lifetime, we watched a global pandemic shut down the entire world. Millions died. Economies froze. Fear became a weapon. And it's not over. New diseases emerge. Antibiotic resistance rises. Health systems crumble under pressure. Even the phrase wild beasts takes on new meaning. Not just literal animals, but the beastly nature of humanity unleashed. Violence, chaos, lawlessness. The pale horse is the culmination, the final blow, the rider that brings it all together, and his hoof prints are everywhere. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're in a house, and you start noticing cracks in the foundation. At first they're small, you ignore them, but then the cracks spread. The walls start to shift, the ceiling sags, and one day you hear a deep groaning sound, the sound of a structure about to collapse. You don't need an engineering degree to know something is very wrong. That's what the Four Horsemen represent. They're not four separate, isolated events. They're cracks in the foundation of human civilization. And those cracks are spreading. Or think of it like dominoes. The first rider, deception and false peace, sets the stage. People are lulled into a false sense of security. They trust the wrong leaders, the wrong systems, the wrong promises. Then the second rider, war, knocks over the next domino. Conflict erupts, nations clash, peace shatters. The third rider, economic collapse, follows. War destroys infrastructure, trade breaks down, resources become scarce, and the fourth rider, death, collects the consequences, famine, disease, despair. One leads to the next. It's not random. It's a sequence, a chain reaction. Or imagine a train speeding down the tracks. At first, it's moving slowly. You can still stop it. But as it picks up speed, momentum builds. And eventually, it becomes unstoppable. The brakes fail. The tracks are locked in. The Four Horsemen are like that train. And every day we see them accelerating. The question is, are we paying attention? Or are we too distracted, too numb, too convinced that everything will be fine? Here's where it gets intense. Because the Four Horsemen aren't just bringing chaos for chaos's sake, they're preparing the world for something. In Revelation, right after the four riders, the fifth seal is opened, and they're told to wait a little longer until the full number of their fellow servants are also killed. Persecution, martyrdom, a world that turns hostile to those who follow God. The riders aren't just destroying systems, they're exposing hearts, revealing who people truly serve, forcing a choice. And then comes the sixth seal, the cosmic signs, the great earthquake, the sky rolling back like a scroll. The kings of the earth hiding in caves, crying out for the mountains to fall on them. That's the climax. The moment when humanity realizes this isn't just bad luck, this isn't just politics or economics or natural disasters, this is judgment. But here's the tension. We're not there yet. We're in the in-between. The riders are moving, but the final moment hasn't arrived, which means there's still time. Time to wake up, time to choose, time to turn back to God before the window closes. But that window is narrowing. The riders are picking up speed, and the world is running out of time. So are the Four Horsemen already in motion today? The answer is yes. Not in the final, full, apocalyptic sense, but in patterns, in birth pangs, in waves that are building toward the ultimate fulfillment. Jesus himself said in Matthew 24, You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. The beginning of sorrows, birth pangs. That's what we're experiencing, the early contractions before the final delivery. The riders have been released, they've been set in motion, but they're building, intensifying, moving toward a crescendo. And here's the revelation. You don't have to be a victim of the riders. In Revelation 6, after the fourth seal, the fifth seal reveals something profound. The souls of the martyrs are safe. They're under the altar. They're in God's presence. They cry out, not in despair, but in anticipation of justice. And in Revelation 7, right after the cosmic chaos of the sixth seal, John sees an angel holding back the winds of judgment until God's servants are sealed on their foreheads. Protection, preservation, a remnant that survives the storm. God doesn't abandon his people in the middle of the riders' rampage. He marks them. He shields them. He brings them through. Not necessarily without suffering, not necessarily without trials, but through them, to the other side, to victory. And one day, when the final trumpet sounds, when the seventh seal is opened, when the riders have completed their mission, a new chapter begins. A chapter where the Lamb stands victorious, where every tear is wiped away, where death is swallowed up in victory. The riders bring destruction, but God brings redemption. So what does this mean for you? Right now, today. In a world where the riders are galloping, it means you have a choice. You can ignore the signs. You can bury your head in distractions, entertainment, comfort, denial. You can tell yourself, it's always been this way. Or you can wake up. You can recognize that we're living in prophetic times, that the Bible warned us, that the patterns are undeniable. And you can prepare, not with fear, not with panic, but with faith. Ask yourself, where is my foundation? Is it built on God or on the systems of this world? Because when the riders come through, when economies collapse, when conflicts erupt, when resources run dry, the things of this world won't save you. Your bank account won't save you. Your political party won't save you. Your social status won't save you. Only God will. So build your life on Him. Root yourself in His Word, strengthen your faith. Surround yourself with a community of believers who will stand with you when the pressure comes. And here's the hope. You're not alone in this. Millions of believers around the world are waking up to the same reality. They're seeing the riders. They're hearing the call. They're choosing to stand firm no matter what. You're part of something bigger, a global family, a remnant, a people who refuse to bow, refuse to compromise, refuse to let the riders steal their hope. This is your moment, your calling, your purpose, not to fear the riders, but to outlast them, to shine brighter in the darkness, to be a witness of God's faithfulness in the middle of chaos. The four horsemen are riding. The world is shaking. The signs are undeniable. But here's the truth that changes everything. God is still on the throne. The riders may bring chaos, but they're not in control. They're instruments, tools in the hands of a sovereign God who is writing the final chapter of human history. And when that chapter ends, the riders will be silenced. Death will be defeated. Tears will be wiped away, and you, if you belong to Him, will stand in victory. Not because you were strong enough, but because He was faithful enough. So hold on. Stay awake. Keep watching. Keep praying. Keep believing. Because the riders may be in motion, but so is the plan of God. And His plan always wins. If you want to explore more biblical prophecy, if you want to go deeper into the mysteries of Revelation, subscribe to this channel. Join us on this journey, because there's so much more to uncover. Thank you for watching. And remember, the riders may shake the earth, but nothing can shake the kingdom of God. See you in the next one.